everybody, Cristina Ingram here with the Ingram Group of Keller Realty Las Vegas. Today we're going to talk about investing and the different ways you can make money with investing in real estate here in the Las Vegas area. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is the sexy one that everybody wants to do right now is the short-term vacation rentals, your Airbnb, your Vurbos, whatever. In the county of Clark County, you actually cannot do Airbnbs here. So when selecting an agent, you want to make sure that they know the rules on where you can and can't buy an Airbnb, because in the city of Henderson you can, and then in the city of Las Vegas you can, but there are some stringent rules on it too. You want to make sure that the HOAs that you're buying into will allow them as well, or just better yet, buy not in an HOA. Then again, you got to make sure that you're in the incorporated city of Las Vegas versus just the county, because that does make a difference. You also want to pay attention to is how much your cost is versus what's going out. So what's coming in versus what's going out, which is always going to be smart when you're trying to run a business of any kind. So there are management companies out there that will do these things for you. Otherwise, you've just basically given yourself another job. And the whole point of doing this is to earn passive income. So if you hire at a management company, those fees can be anywhere from maybe 15 to 30%. And that's a big chunk when it's coming in, because you're going to want to make sure that you figured out your property taxes, your mortgage, if you're going to be financing this as a mortgage, or also other fees such as cleaning, etc. So you got to make sure that it pencils out when you're selecting and purchasing to buy a vacation rental. The other kind of investment properties here would be your traditional rental. So that's your long-term hold. There's several different ways that you can go and start acquiring these. One way, which is what a lot of people do, that way you're putting out less money out of pocket up front, is you're going to go into live into these properties for at least 2 to 3 years before you decide to rent it out. And then after about 2.5, 3 years, you can convert your primary home into a rental property and then go purchase something else. That keeps you with the lower interest rates and also a lower down payment if you're strapped for cash, or if that's what you want to do, if you want to keep your funds more liquid to yourself. But you're going to also want to make sure that these cash flow out. You're not going to want to be upside down in your mortgage versus this. If you decide that you don't want to move from your primary residence and you just wanted to purchase a typical rental, you're going to need to come in with at least 25% down, because that's going to get you the better interest rate. It's just going to be more attractive for the lender to finance for you. You could possibly do it with 20 or 15% down, but you're going to be looking at some high fees there. Lenders do not like to lend on lower down payments on an income property. It's a higher risk to the lender. And then if you're paying cash, well, it's all just going to cash flow for you. So you want to keep that in mind when you're purchasing an investment property. So there are other types of investing, and this is more of an income generating than investing, but it's still investing. And this is basically wholesaling. Now with wholesaling, in a nutshell, you're not flipping the house, you're flipping the contract. You're taking, let's say you find someone for whatever reason needs to get out of their property, and they either are owe the bank too much, they lost their job, something, but time is not on their side and they need to just get out of the property. And let's say the house is worth $300,000 and you guys settle on a wholesale price of $200,000. So you're going to go in and purchase the home for $200,000. You then find your investor and you go to your investor and say, hey, Mr. Investor, I've got a house that is worth $300,000. I'm going to sell it to you for $220,000. So you're selling it basically, and you're making about $20,000 after a little bit of fees, maybe a little less for that. So basically you're getting an assignment fee, basically, because you're assigning your contract, your interest in the contract to that person. So you're not necessarily flipping the house, you're flipping the contract. So you want to be careful with this because it can be seen sometimes as predatory. You have to make sure that you disclose and that everything's on the up and up and that you're not really taking advantage of another person. But if time is the factor for them and it is easier and quicker for them to get out and they're willing to do so, more power to you. You don't necessarily have to have a license to do this either, but you probably should. So hopefully I cleared up some questions and concerns about wholesaling. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. One last thing we're going to talk about when it comes to investing is actually flipping houses. So with flipping houses, your most important part of this is the actual purchase. It's not how you make it look at the end of the day, but your actual purchase and your cost of repairs. So your buy is going to be the most important key part there, because you're going to want to make sure that there's still a margin for you to make money. So typically when you're looking at flipping a home, you want to be able to get it for, if you're going to want to make 20% on the actual flip, you're going to probably want to buy it back maybe 35% back of value, because you still have to leave that little cushion in there for other additional costs, such as seller closing costs and also your repair costs. Now repairs can be costly too, so you're going to want to make a real quick once over to make sure that it's not something too serious that's going to really eat into how you can make it aesthetically pleasing as well, because you want to make sure that you're delivering a good house as well as a pretty house. So this is where some flippers can get into some problems. They just look at the buy, but they don't look at the cost to repair too. So my next suggestion is if you do have like a handyman or someone in construction that's available to partner with, that's probably the best way, because they can give you a good, accurate, bring them with you when you go look, because they can give you a pretty good, accurate guesstimate on how much repairs are going to cost you without having to really dig into the walls. But they usually pad in extra just in case there's some extra stuff. And you're going to always want to do that, because something always comes up once you start digging into walls. So there you got it. Those are the quick ways that you can invest in real estate in the Las Vegas market. If you have any other questions, please feel free to call me and we can discuss on how you can invest in real estate. As always, we hope we become your real estate agent of choice. And remember to hit like and subscribe and hit the bell so anytime we make a video, you'll be notified. This is Cristina with the Ingram Group. Talk to you guys soon.